Gathering and supervising.
Oh, we need to order the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Mrs. Bowers? Mr. Helms?
Yep.
Mr. Christopher? Yes. Dr. Meary?
Yes.
Mr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Bird? Here. Please note Mr. Pratt. All right, I need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Motion.
Mr. Helms, second. Ms. Bird, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Take a quick pause so Mr. Pratt can find his chair. Aye.
My apologies for being late, everybody.
Yeah, we got a pretty good excuse.
Takes a little longer.
Yeah.
All right, he's going to get settled. I'm going to turn over recognitions to Dr. Myers.
Okay, so thank you very much. Well, here, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April board meeting for Fort Zumwalt. Our first item and only item under recognition is a pretty special event. We have a student with us from West High School, Zumwalt Sivasenkar, who has been recognized as the Region 7 winner of the MSBA Future Builder Student Scholarship. And so with us tonight, we have a few distinguished guests who are going to tell us a little bit more about the award. So if the folks would come up as I identify them, we have Dr. Ed Dreyer from West High School, Building Principal. We have Dr. Terrence Peterson, MSBA Senior Director of Growth and Stakeholder Engagement. Keith Ravenberg, sorry, my glasses should be on at this point, MSBA Board of Directors, and of course, the guest of honor, Samrita. So with that, Ed, I'll turn it over to you all, and you can kind of walk us through.
Thank you to the Fort Zumwalt School District for allowing the Missouri School Boards Association to present the Future Builder Scholarship winner of Region 7, which entails the St. Louis area and all of the surrounding counties. My name is Terrence Peterson, and I am the Senior Director of Growth and Stakeholder Engagement for the Missouri School Boards Association. And today I have with me a member of our Region 7 Executive Committee, Keith Ravenberg, and he is a board member in the Brentwood School District as well. Each year, the Missouri School Boards Association Future Builders Foundation awards $18,500 in scholarships to students in MSBA's member districts. A winner is selected from each of the 17 MSBA regions, and one overall state winner is also selected. Each regional winner receives a $1,000 scholarship and is automatically eligible to compete to be the statewide winner, who receives an additional $1,500. To identify the regional scholarship winners, each application is reviewed by the school board members who serve on the regional executive committees for each region. This year, over 200 applications were submitted, which resulted in some stiff competition for our region's winner. Despite the high number of submissions and quality of essays that were written, our region's winner came from your school district. So, without further ado, please help me to congratulate Region 7's Future Builders Scholarship winner, your very own Samrita Sivasenkar.
So I'm here to brag on Samrita for a few minutes. I want to thank MSB. You picked the right girl. I tell you what, she is a lifelong Zumwalt student, and I know that because her first grade teacher was Mrs. Dreyer. So I have a special connection there. A couple things real quick, because she won't brag on herself. She was recently accepted to UMKC, where she'll be pursuing something in the medical field. She'll be there for 6 years, so that's a big deal. She was the West High St. Charles County STEM student. Our student was selected with Samrita overwhelmingly by our science and math teachers. And I joke often that I got a 47 on the ACT, but I had to score multiple times. She got a 36. And so she's a pretty special student, ranked second in the class at West High School, and I cannot think of a more deserving student than Samrita to be selected for this award. So thank you very much.
I just want to take this moment to thank the district, MSBA, and our West High staff for all the opportunities that I've gotten over the last 13 years to really grow and thrive and get to find out where my niche is. So thank you.
And then it's time for photographs.
Just a quick one, I'll have you guys come
Let's
over
go.
here. You'll face this way. There we go. Let's come in. Dr. Gar, let's come in front.
Oh, in front of the podium? All right.
I'll be happy to stand in back.
There it is. All right. Terrific, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you all. Congratulations.
We don't have any comments this evening. Our next is Dr. Mears.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda tonight is a very positive one. It is my pleasure to go walk us through the results of the unofficial April 8, 2025 Fort Zumwalt School District Board Member election. As you know or may not know, the state of Missouri requires all urban school districts, which Missouri is, or Fort Zumwalt is classified as urban because we cover a couple of different districts, so our total population classifies us as such as an urban district. And they require us to accept the election results and reorganize the Board of Education within 10 days of the election. So that's also why we have the meeting on Thursday night to hit that 10-day deadline. So for this year, we had 2 vacant seats, and the 2 candidates receiving the most votes were John Christopher and Jeff Marion. And I would ask the board that you consider accepting these official results.
All right, I need a motion.
Motion.
All right. Mr. George, Ms. Byrd, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Congratulations, both of you, and just also briefly take a moment to thank the other candidates who ran. It is absolutely a public service, as we talk about often. These are voluntary positions. Board members are not compensated for doing this, and we want and enjoy seeing that active participation. But again, thrilled to have both John and Jeff returning to the school board moving forward. So with that in mind, what we need to do now is reorganize the Board of Education. And I gotta jump down my notes, give me just a second. But before we do that, Jamie's gonna swear me. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Where you want us?
Perfect, yep, you got your cheat sheets there. So if you'll just repeat after me, raise your right hand. I say your name, do solemnly affirm
I, John Christopher, do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will
support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and the
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of Board of Education.
I will
discharge the duties of a member of the Board of
You
Education
guys are doing better than me. In and for Fort Zumwalt School District,
in
in and for Fort Zumwalt School District,
County of St. Charles,
County of St. Charles,
State of Missouri,
State of Missouri,
to the best of my ability,
to the
best of my ability,
according to law,
according to law,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next item, as part of board reorganization, I will now serve as the temporary chairperson of the meeting and open the floor for nominations for board president.
I would like to nominate Erica Powers.
Second. Any additional nominations? All right, being none, I would then ask, I need a motion to approve Erica Powers as board president. Motion. And I need a second. Okay, thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
And now I turn it back over to you.
All right. I will now open the floor to motion, for a motion to nominate our vice president. Mr. George?
I'd like to nominate Gabriel Helms for vice president.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Wade, second. Is there any others? All right. I need a motion to approve Gabriel as our vice president. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Okay,
Congratulations.
thanks, guys.
It's just because we same on letterhead.
Get reelected, it just changed on the once they get reelected, don't it?
He's just sad because he loses at trivia.
This is true.
All right, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Ms. Bird, second, Mr. Helms, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah. Financial reports?
All right. So good evening. Financial report this time, I guess I get tired of saying every month to you, we're matching budget. We're going to hit our budget numbers, it appears. So I thought, get a little head start on the budget and talk about the two new revenue impacts we have. One's the senior revenue credit. Looking at the numbers we have today, it's going to be about $400,000, $450,000 this year, growing to about $2 million in 5 years. That 450 is subject to change. I put the calculation for how we came up to the number on here. The biggest impacts are the fact that residential values increased 6.3% in the newest assessed valuation numbers we got. So that just means our tax rate has to drop. So if you think about that, the credit then shrinks for the seniors because it's on a lower tax rate than it was when the credit was set. Just playing with it a little bit, I came up with the 492. If we have 20 million in new property and the growth is only 5%, that number would jump up to like 700,000 because the tax rate wouldn't drop as much. But on the flip side, our revenues would also increase more than that change. So it is kind of those where it changes proportionally to how much revenue we're going to get. So I feel good about that, kind of knowing a floor number we're going to have on our revenue overall. And I was surprised by, I think the impact was a lot less than I had originally calculated, a lot of people, but we were just ignoring the fact that not every senior would sign up and that the tax rate does drop most years. You knew it instinctively, but until you see it out in the calculation, you don't really realize that's why it's not $2 million right away and it takes a couple of years. So, and it'll be every assessment years when you see it jump. Next year, it's going to stay about the same as this year, and then 2 years down the road, it'll probably double, and then not quite double again, but 2 years after that. And the other big change, which is I think good news for us and a lot of districts, is the state is changing the way they do student counts for calculating the formula payment. And what they're doing now, it all used to be attendance-based. So what was your attendance? That's kind of how it is. So we have pretty good attendance. Our number was pretty close to enrollment. But now it'll be 10% of your enrollment with 90% of the attendance together, and that's going to keep our number flat. Because otherwise, when enrollment goes down, we might have had a drop as well. But now with that calculation, our number's going up. The difference between if we were using the old calculation and the new calculation is about 100 students we're paid for. So it's very impactful for the district. And next year it'll go even more, where it's 80% attendance, 20%, and it'll go that way for 5 years until we get to 50-50. There are some concerns, like what if you think about it, every district's facing the same thing. So will other districts grow more? Say they're in a district with 80% attendance, their number's really going to jump up. But we think, or at least I think overall, the pie is going to stay about the same, the number of students. So I think our share is going to stay the same, but there is some risk that we won't even know until a year or two down the road that maybe our share gets smaller because other districts are helped so much by this change. But as of right now, I'm thinking it's a positive development. And the other two things I want to talk about with the financials and the property taxes are performing much better than we predicted. So it's probably going to be our highest collection rate in years. We're looking at like a 96.5, and previously we were averaging a little closer to 96% collection. 0.5% doesn't sound like much, but it's about $1.5 million, so it's a big deal to us. And the other one is there's still kind of that standstill on what the final state adequacy target is going to be next year. And like I said, if they funded the 7,100, that's $6 million more than we're currently looking at when we budget. So it's a big gap we're waiting on, and it's, we're less than a month till we know what the number will be, so. And any question on the financials?
Questions? Right, if not, I need a motion to approve the financial reports as presented. Mr. Christopher, second. Dr. Marion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Dr. Myers, old business.
Thank you very much. We have quite a few things on the construction front, so it's going to be Toby's show here for a little bit. But under facility planning, the first item is the summer East High School flooring bid recommendation. We'll just walk through those. So Toby, if you want to take us through the bid, we'll go from there.
Thank you very much, Dr. Myers. Congratulations, Madam President and board members. This is my first time presenting, so if my voice wavers a little bit, it's not because I'm nervous, it's because it's freezing in here. But I'm a little nervous too. Our first project that I'd like to present to you is East High School flooring. It's part of a two-part renovation for East High School. The base bid came in after a public opening of $87,000 and some change. There was 3 alternates for this project. One was cove base for the classrooms and painting all the classrooms. Alternate number 2 was carpet and offices in the offices, and the alternate 3 was stair treads. I like to focus on that just a little bit. When stair treads fail, they start curling up and become a trip hazard, so I really, I'm glad we're taking care of that portion of it. All together with accepting all 3 alternates, it's $182,000 for the pretty much the entire school, all common areas. We're also switching over their brick-colored alcoves to the actual gold for their logos. So I'm pretty excited about that project. Do you have any questions?
VCT, no LVT?
So actually flooring will be only in very limited areas, and we're not doing any LVT in high traffic areas.
Any other questions? All right, if not, I need a motion to approve the summer East High School flooring bid as recommended.
Motion.
Mr. Helms, second. Mr. Pratt, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Next item, same with Toby, is also at East High School. Summer painting bid work for East High School. And Toby, go ahead.
And I did kind of mix those 2 up a little bit because we did put them out for bid all at the same time. Our budget for both projects together was $1.3 million, and it came in at a little over $600,000. So we're pretty pleased with that. We did have 3 alternates also to the painting bid, which was $200,000 on base bid on its own. Alternate number 1 was to paint all the classrooms. We had excluded those and we're concentrating on commons areas and hallways, but the alternate is in there. Alternate 2 is for office areas being painted, and then we also had alternate 3, which was handrails, and they really need to be done too because they're failing. We did have that awarded to, not awarded, but low bid to Joseph Ward Painting, and I did skip on Richardet for the flooring. So, sorry I got that mixed up. Any questions?
Anyone have questions? All right, if not, I need a motion to approve the summer East High School painting bid as recommended. Mr. Helms, second. Mr. Christopher, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Just a quick comment on that. This is going to be almost kind of top to bottom at East High School between the painting and the flooring. So it's a massive project, but it is much needed to give the building an upgrade. So very excited we're getting to do that. Thank you for that approval. Next item, summer West High School roofing bid recommendation. Same with Toby.
West High School was on our summer schedule in our budget. This also was budgeted for 1.0 million, and it came in at just under 900,000. So we came in pretty good there. This will be the new roof over gym and auditorium. Any questions?
Any questions? All right, if not, I need a motion to approve the summer West High School roofing bid as recommended. Christopher, second. Dr. Marion. All in favor say aye. Any opposed?
Next item, a little bit of lead-in on this one. So we have moved forward, and actually, if you've been by the site, broke ground on the new transportation center. It's, again, if you're not familiar, it's over off Salt River Road, right by the new ambulance district. I was out there, I think, Tuesday of this week, and they are really moving. But what we're bringing tonight is a change order, working with the city on this property as it stands to reason. This is a completely undeveloped property. So coming back in the change order, there are some stipulations that they have that they want us to do with respect to culverts. They've asked and insisted that we bring up the floor or the base and add some substrate to that, mainly for drainage concerns. All of this relates to permitting and moving through those steps with what the city expects, and also developing some infrastructure in that area. So these are change orders in line with working with IFS. One thing that is nice about this to point out, this has allowed us to kind of pivot, get that project moving a little bit faster while we finish up some remediation at North Middle School. So ideally, that will allow us to kind of get that project back on track, because the process to get to the bid and approval from the city put us on a little bit of a delay. So what Toby has prepared here is a change order within that scope. Toby, anything you would add to the details about the change order, or anything else you want to comment on?
I could bore you with statistics. We have over 400 feet of round pipe going in, 12-inch, 24-inch of 230 feet. We're putting in riprap. We're raising, as Dr. Myers said, we're raising the building. We're putting in 13 inches of 1 inch minus under bus parking lots, and I think 13 inches under passenger parking. So engineering, general conditions, raising the site have just been a challenge for the last 132 days, actually. But we have it cleared, and we're moving up right now, and I don't see anything holding us back now.
And the only other thing to point out is it's clearly articulated in the memo, but just for the benefit of the group, a portion of these costs are, in an easier way to explain it, there are fixed known costs right now, and those are outlined in the memo. Then there are costs that the contractor is going to attempt to mitigate. So they don't perceive that they're going to need all of those additional funds that are outlined in here. That is a top bar for them, but just want to point that out, that we're hoping to recoup and not expend all of that kind of discretionary side of it. But it depends on the rain, it depends on conditions on the site. So that's what we're looking at, but want to make sure that's clearly known as well. And with that, if there are no questions, we could just ask for a motion.
Any questions? All right. I need a motion for Mr. Helms, second please. Mr. Christopher, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right.
Thank you. Great job, Toby. You're off the hot seat for a second. But in a similar vein, as the board is aware, a couple months back, we discussed that we were going out for a bid or RFP on a facility needs assessment or physical needs assessment for the entire district. To my knowledge, we have done this always internally, and as the district has grown, it obviously gets a little bit more difficult to do that. We also felt like, as we prepare to spend down the remainder of the current bond, that it would be helpful to get a more comprehensive picture of what are our needs to start formulating what will be a pretty imminent future bond that we would want to take out. So with that in mind, Brian and Toby and Henry and I worked through this process along with Jeremy, and Brian's going to kind of explain the results of the bid process.
Clearly, we had a need for it. So we got the bid, 5 companies responded. First thing you look at is, are they qualified before we go to the next step of, we can interview them and find out the price. Qualification's kind of the first step. They were all qualified. They all had experience in it. But then 3 of them we were able to roll out real fast because their prices were all over $500,000. So, which, you know, if you looked at their bids, it would have been really nice. There would have been 3D imaging, thermal cameras. We would have had just perfect maps of every building, but there's also the limit of what we can reasonably spend. So it kind of came down to between BLDD and Cordigan Clark. BLDD did have a higher pricing scheme, but we felt that they were, you know, quality-wise, they were so similar because we had to interview them to really see which one we'd pick. I think Cordigan kind of came out ahead for one main difference was just their approach. Part of it is they already know us. They probably have a good idea, like a good head start on it, which is why they offer a lower price. But they were the only ones that when we sat and interviewed, they said, we're going to go do one building, take it back to you, see if this is the approach you're looking for, and if it's not, they're going to change it up. So we were very happy to hear that, and they felt they could do it on a timeline to have it by ready this fall. So
You said this fall?
yes.
And I think that is huge, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think I comment a little bit too on that. What's happening right now, Cordigan Clark shared this in their presentation. They have a team currently in St. Louis that has been doing this for St. Louis Public. They just completed that process here recently, so they are also in great shape to roll over a team that's already in place. And then as Brian pointed out, the components of being familiar with us, that certainly helps. So we're excited about that in terms of the opportunity. And Brian, you want to talk a little about pricing?
Yeah, so their price is $48,500. I don't have BLDD's exact one in front of me, but I want to say it was around $80,000. So again, I mean, it's $30,000, which is so much when you say it out loud, but in the scope of when you saw the bids going into $1 million, you're like, oh, that's pretty reasonable in comparison. Like I said, they were all very reputable firms with great approaches.
That seems like a very reasonable price and timeline for this size. I'm
Yeah.
shocked it's that close.
Yeah.
Yep, that's kind of how we felt too.
Yeah.
Any questions? I need a motion to approve the district facilities physical needs assessment recommendation. Dr. Marion, second. Ms. Byrd, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great. Dr. Myers?
Thank you very much. First item under new business is the 912 ELA electives, curriculums, and materials. Jen, you want to give us a brief intro and
Sure.
explanation of
Yes. We have actually 2 areas this evening in which we are bringing curriculum. The first is ELA high school electives. Sharon Bader is the ELA secondary curriculum coordinator, and she's here tonight to kind of present the process and show you what they've done. She had about 34, 35 teachers, I think, that helped to write this. Several of them that are here with us this evening. So Sharon, I will hand it over to you.
All right. Thanks, Jen. I'm happy to be here this evening to talk to you about our high school electives curriculum guide. Our electives courses are options for students to take as their 4th year of required English. So they have to meet their 4 credits of English somehow. And that 4th credit, we offer a variety of options to students to better meet their interests and also their needs for after high school. So tonight I'm going to tell you a little bit about our team and our process, and then of course our curriculum guide and request for recommendation of some resources. So first, as Ms. Waters mentioned, we have 32 teachers from across the district represented in our elective teams. And the work that they did was phenomenal. We do have a few of them, if they stand for a moment to be recognized for their hard work. A few of them from West High this evening. And they represent also a wide range of experience. So we had some teachers on here who were fairly new to teaching, and we have some who are close to retirement and kind of everywhere in between. So to tell you a little bit more about just kind of our process, we actually started this process last year in the winter of 2024. And we started by looking at the data of our electives classes. So we looked at student enrollment over the past 5 years in those courses. And then we also considered and got input from our teachers about what they thought might better meet students' needs and interests in the world today. So with that information in mind, we asked teachers to also offer up some ideas and options for some new courses that we may be able to add for students. And with that information, we took a narrowed down list with information from our department chairs and our principals who work with the English department, and we created a student survey that we gave in every building. And we actually surveyed students 9 through 12 because we knew, you know, it was the students coming up as well as our current seniors, even though they wouldn't have the opportunity to take the classes. So we received 2,138 student responses, and from all of that information and our enrollment numbers, we recommended dropping 2 of our current courses, which is Shakespeare and Advanced Composition, which have had decreasing numbers for the last several years, and adding 2 new courses, Mythology and Sports Media and Literature. Those by far had the most interest from students, and as we see initial enrollment numbers for students, they are actually getting the most number of students are requesting those courses for next year. Additionally, with the remaining current electives, we conducted a curriculum audit with our teachers to make sure we were aligned across the district. And we also gave the teachers a needs survey to see if they felt that they needed new resources or not. So we took all that information from last year, and our teams met this year. Depending on the course, they met 2 to 8 times. Obviously, our newer courses needed some more time to develop ideas and information, and they mapped units around the standards, the Missouri Learning Standards, the 11th and 12th grade level standards, as well as our AP courses also used the AP standards, and our yearbook and newspaper used journalism standards, as well as the Missouri Learning Standards. So we mapped around the standards. We created essential questions for each of those units. Those teams evaluated current and possible new resources. We looked at a lot of research-based strategies. And then also for each course, we created a course at a glance. This is kind of an overview showing our backward design of thinking about our assessments, our resources, and those essential questions that are taught in each unit. So that work is represented in our high school ELA elective curriculum guide, which is linked on slide 6. And inside that curriculum guide, there's a table of contents. We revised sections 3 and 4, the course descriptions, the rationales, and the objectives. And as I said, those all are reflective of our Missouri Learning Standards. And then we also added those courses at a glance in there so that we had a clearer indication of what was being taught in those classes. Section 4 of the curriculum guide 4 and 5 is our resource recommendations. So our 2 AP courses, AP Language and Composition, which can be taken at 11th or 12th grade, and AP Literature, which is a 12th grade course, both were looking to add some new novel texts. AP Lang, it's actually memoirs. That's a nonfiction based class. These are texts that several of them have actually been referenced on the AP exams, but our teachers were looking to offer more contemporary text to our students that still met the rigor and demands of an AP course, as well as would be more engaging and offer a variety of different experiences from different cultures. And then additionally, we had a few other electives that felt the need for some additional resources geared toward their particular content. Last year, our core English courses, you approved the adoption of Common Lit, and Common Lit is also able to be used for our elective courses. So there's not a really high need for a whole lot of new resources for these courses, but there are a few kind of specific novels in this case. And with that said, at this time, I'd like to offer for your approval the high school ELA electives curriculum guide, the recommended resources and costs in section 5. And on behalf of the entire high school English department, I want to thank you for that consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? All right, I need a motion to approve the 9 through 12 ELA elective.
Motion.
Mr. Pratt?
Sharon.
Sharon, there's a
Mr.
question.
Helms, all in favor, say aye.
I apologize.
No, that was a
Any
motion.
opposed?
That was a motion.
I was like, I thought it was a motion.
It just looks a lot different.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much, Sharon. Next item, same vein, is the 9-12 science 4 courses, curriculum materials. Ann Green is with us from the science department, along with some colleagues. Ann, feel free to introduce. I assume that the science curriculum is equally as inexpensive.
Actually, I think they did all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a few other science teachers here. These are Representative North and West High, and got Nikki Blanc and Daniel Murray are going to help with the presentation tonight. So my name is Ann Green. I'm the science coordinator for the district. And I'm going to go over our curriculum writing teams, our writing process, the curriculum, resource recommendations, and then the cost analysis. So this year, I will say that working with the science teachers at the high schools has just been an absolute pleasure the entire year. They are professional, they were engaged in the process, and I can't just speak highly enough of them. It was really kind of seamless, and I just really appreciated their engagement and taking the writing process really serious. So this year, we're writing our core courses, so everything fancy like mythology to show. But so this year we wrote accelerated biology and general biology, and accelerated chemistry and general chemistry, physical science, general physics, and then AP environment. We wrote AP environment because their book was going out of print, so otherwise they would have gone next year. But that's the reason why they're not really a core, but that's why we threw them in this year. So I'm going to have Nikki talk about, or Daniel's going to do the curriculum writing process here.
Thanks. So I'm going to speak to the big picture of our process. So we started this about 2.5 years ago, with looking at our current practices, what was going well. We surveyed our teachers to ask what we needed in order to support students, or what student needs were. And then from that, we took resources from multiple places and tried different resources and approaches in our classrooms and across different schools. We reviewed academic research, curriculum models from other school districts. We interviewed professors from universities to get feedbacks about future focus. We also conducted or participated in PD with an NGSS, or National Science Standard expert. Our writing teams the whole time worked together on vertical alignment so that our core classes would be seamless throughout middle and high school. And we really focused on breaking down each standard and narrowing down what would be taught at each course and what rigor would be appropriate for each grade level. And then this year, we've worked really on finalizing those documents. So we've looked over all of the work that we've done for the year. We have written items for common benchmark assessments that'll help us to be, on the same page and help us to teach the students with the same fidelity that we vision. And then the lesson resources that we thought were highly appropriate were put into a shared district folder. And that was it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, we kind of covered a lot of my stuff here.
You're welcome.
So taking on the challenge of writing brand new curriculum for 7 subjects with 33 plus teachers, we had to be really, really organized and really, really focused. So we had this master progress checker to kind of monitor our tasks and goals and check them off as we completed them. So what we started to do is we took every subject, we broke them down into units, and then we looked at each unit and started breaking them down into specific standards. And then to really make sure that we were on the same page for teaching that standard and assessing that standard, every science teacher across the district attended a professional development with an expert with Next Generation Science Standards. And then just with the whole experience, it was really great to have the opportunity to sit down with science teachers across the districts, with other professionals. We really did have the opportunity to learn from each other, to share ideas, and there's just a really big excitement amongst us all with this curriculum, and we are all really, really looking forward to hopefully implementing it next year.
So this is a link to the curriculum guide that houses all 7 courses that we wrote this year. Inside, you'll find each course is written by unit. One thing I do want to point out that we worked really hard on is that physical science class for 9th grade. what we did with that course is it's still a physical science class, but we really wanted it to be, no matter what, kids will take biology after that, but after that they can go into just earth science, they could go into chemistry. We wanted to make sure that we were doing a good job of preparing them. So the way that we did that is we took some earth and life science standards and used them as phenomena to teach the physical science standards. So for instance, if kids were learning about chemical reactions, for instance, they might do it under the guise of photosynthesis. So they're getting some of that introduction before they're hitting those classes. Or if they're talking about thermal energy, we'll talk about convection currents inside the earth. So they're relating it to that. So we're hoping that the course, which is going to be a challenge, but we're really excited about it, is really going to prepare kids no matter what course that they're going to go into after biology. So inside the curriculum document, you'll find each course broken down by unit. You'll see essential questions and enduring understandings. There will be the state objectives, which we've outlined and vertically aligned in all the courses. And then you'll also find that there are cross-cutting concepts and science and engineering practices linked to each standard. So in science, we talk about the 3 dimensions of science, and what they mean by that is we don't use the scientific method anymore. What we use is practices, because scientists don't have one method of doing things. They use different practices to solve problems. So what the state has done and what we have done is take those practices and link them to the standards, and then the cross-cutting concepts are ideas that help students understand what they need to know in the standard a little deeper. They are ideas that cross all science, so things like if kids can figure out what patterns are, or they can figure out cause and effect, or scale, proportion, and quantity. These are just big ideas that we're teaching in every course from K to 12 that will help them understand the science concepts that they're learning in a little bit deeper way. These are the books that the teachers voted on and or what they're looking for. And then finally, the fun part, the cost analysis. In the bottom left-hand corner, there's a link to the equipment request. And then you'll see the actual contracts in there for each of the books. And then there's our total. So yeah, science is a little more expensive, but I will say this too, when you get into the equipment request sheet, teachers were, I don't want to say they were frugal, but they were really conscientious about, like, do we really need this when they were looking at equipment. I felt like they really did a good job. And in some cases, I was like, we want good quality things too that are going to last. And I felt like we did that on the last adoption, and it worked really well for us. So we tried to order good quality, but keep it in check with what we really thought we would be using in our courses. So with that, we respectfully seek the board's approval for the new curriculum documents and the new resources, as well as the equipment. Are there any questions?
The number that you had, it also amount, that's when you break it down, it is.
Yeah, that is a 7-year contract.
Okay, I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Core courses curriculum is presented. Mr. Howland, second Ms. Byrne, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you all so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all for being here, appreciate it. Next item is mine. This is the end-of-year adjustment to the 24-25 school calendar. So just to kind of cut to the heart of it, due to the massive snow, ice, apocalypse storm that we had in January, plus the other additional days that we dealt with, we had a little bit of our calendar get pushed into an odd schedule specific to our high school. So had some discussion with our high school principals, a little bit with members of the board, and then also with the NEA, that as currently configured with no change, we have our high school only coming back for a half day on Friday and then a half day on the following Monday to take their finals. I had some concerns about attendance-related issues for that. Spoke with the high school folks who feel very confident that they can adjust their final schedule so that if we moved that back to a full day on Friday for high school and adjusted the final schedules accordingly, then all of our students would end on that Friday with a full, or high school would end with a full day, and we would not be looking to bring students back for just a half day for finals on that following Monday. So it should not add a burden in terms of student studying. It certainly will help us in terms of things like attendance on that final day for finals. That's a significant concern. Jamie is here tonight, and Jamie, anything you want to add to the conversation?
No, my executive committee talked about it and agreed that's probably what's best for the students.
Okay. This has no funding impact. We will be able to facilitate serving lunch, because we typically don't have to do that. So with that in mind, it would be my recommendation that we adjust the 24-25 school calendar as presented in the memo, but I'm happy to answer any questions about the topic.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay, then I need a motion to approve the end of year adjustment for the calendar. Mr. Christopher, second. Ms. Byrd, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right.
Somewhere the high school students are celebrating, I assume. So I appreciate you all doing that. Appreciate working with the NEA as always about being good reciprocal partners on it. This just makes common sense. Let's do what's best for students and staff here. So with that being said, the next item on the agenda is policy development. Or Jeremy, it's all you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Myers, ladies and gentlemen of the board. This is our third policy amendment packet that's brought to you for this year. As kind of noted at the beginning of the year, this continues to just be busy for MSBA, who is our policy recommendation service. Much of this policy, again, derives out of legal mandates set to us out of Senate Bill 727, House Bill 2287. I tried to give you in the packet that I provided at the last board meeting a little bit bigger summary with regards to each of those recommended changes, and then just a few administrative changes that actually some things that we kind of cleaned up on a couple of policies. So pretty straightforward. Again, there is another one that is sitting there waiting to be released. We may try to get that one turned around before the close of the year. It has from what I have viewed with it, it's really more business office procedural things. Yeah, it's just continues to be the busy year for MSBA and that process that we use them for. So any questions that you may have with regards to the policy?
Good read.
Okay. Good read, that's right. Fireside read. All right, well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I need a motion to approve the policy development as presented. Dr. Marion, second. Mr. Christopher. Sorry, Mr. Pratt, I'll get you in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Next item, Brian Whittle is going to walk us through this. This is a review and an option that we wanted to explore to consolidate how we're outfitting our athletic teams and performance teams at the high school level. Trying to find a way to consolidate this to also improve our pricing, and had some great options come about as a result of it. So Brian, I'll turn it over to you.
Sure. So, like I said, we started this to look at, maybe I'll start first. This is, the only part of this that's mandatory would be the athletic wear for teams. So not even like a club, but you know, if you're a sponsor team, that's the only groups that will have to purchase through the selected bidder. Everything else part of it is optional. So, you know, some schools use it, some won't, but we go back to athletics, you know, talking with the ADs, they're pretty much buying most of their stuff from BSN or ARCH currently. We just knew if, hey, we get all 4 high schools together, that's a lot of buying power. They're gonna give us higher discounts, and in BSN's case, they'll give us money up front in terms of promo products. You know, it could be extra uniforms, and then so then the money that the school now saves on uniform, maybe they can buy that wrestling mat that needs to be replaced. It's kind of the thinking, it was a way to get athletics more money without pulling it from taxes, you know. It kind of lets athletics support itself. The discounts are great. It's 40% on the apparel, 35% on shoes, and those are the branded products like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour are the three that fall under that. BSN and Arch both had very similar discounts, so then it came down to what was the promos they were offering. Arch offered, their promos were more based on sales, like what would happen, and we looked at it, and we didn't think we would hit that number of sales to match the BSN numbers that they were just giving us up front. And it kind of works out for the schools. Each school will get roughly 60,000 this first year in promo products, which is a lot, and then after that it'll be 30,000. And the reason they get so much that first year is there's a initial promo discount and then the annual promo, plus they'll get their rebates from the prior year coming in too. And then the other side of it is the ability to have spirit wear stores. So, you know, some of our elementary schools, middle schools, they already have a way to do that. Not all of them do, and not all of them like the process they have. This would just be a store you turn on, you load up a couple of logos, and I mean, it's Nike, Adidas, but it's also other brands like North Face, Columbia, a wide variety of items to choose from, plus BSN's clothing line. The only thing about the store that's different than, say, if you're doing an elementary and you're doing that t-shirt sale, you know, they're probably selling those for $8 or $9. The cheapest t-shirt's $20 or $19 on BSN, so I would say those elementary schools that are doing that $7 or $8 t-shirt fundraiser, they should still do it, and then have this on the side. You know, just because you would get, they get 10% of the money back. Middle schools, I think it could help a lot because middle schools are just, you know, their PTOs aren't as active. The kids are in there a little less time, but if you have a store like this, a lot of parents will buy it. You know, I always bought a hoodie of whatever school my son was at to wear at his event. So, and you tend to see parents do that if you get that option. And then there's just some other benefits too, like they're gonna give us the signing day, you know, that backdrop and all that. They're gonna give those to the high schools. $500 to each elementary school in US sports equipment, which I think that's pretty helpful to those elementary schools. And the middle schools get a smaller promo packet, you know, like the signing table, it's a smaller one. And then the decals, you know, for the back of cars for coaches to hand out to parents and things like that. And like I said, we just came down for BSN because the money's kind of upfront and guaranteed. And like I said, I just didn't think we would hit that sales number. It would have to be essentially $1.5 million for BSN or Arch to start equal BSN. You know, in 3 years when this contract's up again, we'll know those numbers. So we would be able to definitively say, based on last year's sales, Arch is better or BSN is better or Game One's better. But right now, looking at it with the information we have, we feel BSN's the best option. And all the ADs, they said you know, the groups to work with, BSN's the most reliable. That doesn't mean they're 100% reliable, but you know, it's hard to get a bunch of football uniforms or a bunch of baseball, and it's a complicated process. So it's good to have a group that they can trust. Any questions?
Yeah, they would like the PTOs and different things so they can do their own t-shirts. What about the booster clubs at the high school? Will they still be able to do their own stuff? They don't do official uniforms and stuff.
Yeah, because it's not official. I think BSN's going to be reasonable. It would be a good chance for the booster to say, hey, we're going to get more money out of this or that. In general, I've always felt the t-shirt, you know, the margins are so small, you get more money by just saying, hey, can you donate $20? Then,
Yeah, I mean, if it makes sense for the booster clubs to buy from them as well with the discounts.
Yeah.
Or whatever, that would be great. But then all the booster clubs, you know, raise some money from schools. And the parents work very hard, so I want to make sure that they still are able to do that.
For sure, I think that's it's always in the back of my head not to anger a booster or a PTO. Because, I mean, they are valuable. They've
been around a while.
Yeah, and there's nothing like, you know, parents.
I just didn't any exclusivity.
Yeah, so we really tried to narrow that exclusivity to just, you know, like what the teams are wearing.
Awesome. Good, thank you.
Sorry, I have one question.
Sure.
So something you mentioned is that it was that right now some T-shirts are under $10 versus there's the cheapest one they have is 20. But I just want to be clear. So nobody's going to be forced into a situation where they have to charge.
No.
Astronomical amount more than what they're used to doing. I just want to make sure they still have the freedoms to not use BSN if they want to.
For sure, I mean, the school wouldn't have to at all. I talked to one PTO, was just calling me with a general question. I was kind of like walking through what she would do. She goes, well, I would keep my $7 t-shirt sale and have this. You know, she's
okay, good.
Yeah, but no, I get it. I think you've got to have an affordable option, and it's fun because the $7 t-shirt sales are, you make sure every kid's learning something with the school that way.
Thank you.
And I had one question. I just wanted to make sure there's no minimum requirements, minimum ordering, anything like that annually.
No, it's just the exclusivity. And they would be able to see, because I don't know how they seem to know what every team is wearing. It's a very, I don't know how to say, connected industry, where they're all watching each other's back. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I need a motion to approve the athletic apparel recommendation as presented. Mr. Helms?
No, you just go forward.
Anyone else?
So just a-
Christopher? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Give it your shot.
And then last item under new business is the 25-26 support staff pay plan, and Aaron Williams is going to walk us through.
Hi, good evening. So every year we look at what our entry-level wages is for our support staff categories. And so what you have in front of you is what the recommendation would be. Is this back? Is that? Based on comparables from around the county, market prices, as well as knowing that in January, minimum wage is gonna go up to $15 an hour. So the biggest changes here are for our nursing staff. It would take their entry level up to $30 an hour. We all know how valuable they are, and just an area that we have struggled with retaining. And then the other biggest change would be for our lead trainer for our transportation department. So when we have continued to boost bus driver pay, thank you very much, we have, because this person is categorized under support staff, that position has not kept pace, but this is the person who is in charge of training all of those drivers, doing all the accident investigations, retraining as needed. So we would like to bring that position up to top driver pay as well. So based on the current staff that we have, these changes would be an additional $61,000 to our payroll, and then anybody who is not impacted by this or under an already negotiated agreement would get a 3% increase this upcoming year. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
And these secretaries at like education office, professional, that's at the building level?
Yep, yeah. So the memo in consent was just changing, retitling some folks much more in line with what those professionals do in our buildings to keep them running. Yep.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve the 25-26 support staff pay? Mr. Helms? Mr. George? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
I apologize, I have a question, maybe it's because I came in late and was getting set up. Did we do consent agenda? Right, my apologies. Yep, you're fine.
All right, comments from the board. Start with you, Dr. Marion.
Thank you. Well, thanks to all the ELA and science folks who did all that work and brought us exciting changes to that. Appreciate again that Aaron and the whole HR staff continue to find, what word am I looking for? Yes, thank you. Fine tune our salary schedules and get them where they need to be. I appreciate that. I think we've done a lot of good work in that, so that's great. Also got a couple announcements. We have Fort Zumwalt Education Foundation announced its newest Grow Your Own Paraprofessionals this week. So congratulate Heather Hamline, a para at Westhoff, and Anthony Durmack, a para at Jail Mud. They're going to receive tuition assistance from the foundation to help them in their careers to be a certified teacher in Fort Zumwalt. So congratulations to those folks. And congratulations to the District Employee of the Year, East High Auditorium Manager Caitlin Woodsall. I want to give her a big shout out. She does a lot of work at East High behind the scenes for a whole lot of stuff, so congrats.
Mr. George.
Yeah, we're gonna come up on the end of another school year pretty soon, and I just wanted to
thank all the administration, the teachers, everybody for their hard work. I think by and large, everything's gone pretty good this year. We have a teacher that's going to be inducted into the Culver-Stockton College Athletic Hall of Fame. Laura Klipsch teaches 7th grade social studies at DeBray Middle. She was inducted into the Culver-Stockton College Athletic Hall of Fame last month. Ms. Klipsch was recognized for her 4-year volleyball career at Culver-Stockton, where her stats still rank among tops in school history, and where she was a 2-time Heart of America Athletic Conference All-Conference player. Congratulations, Ms. Klipsch.
Coaching for us somewhere.
Okay, first off, I'd like to start with congratulations to the Fort Zumwalt class of 2025 Missouri Scholars 100. East High Gabriel Ostrander, North High's Cadence Russell, South High's Carter Muelling, West High's Garrett Ray, and Ukash Sesa. I'm sure I tore that up. Each one of the top 100 scholars in the state of Missouri is named, and to have that many and at each school is quite an impressive thing. We've got some really impressive kids, a lot of great kids. And also want to say thanks for the great read of the policy. I appreciate that. That's so much work and so much verbiage. I appreciate the efforts that you do that, as well as everybody. As always, you know, the teachers doing an outstanding job, all the building administrators, and you know, Jeff mentioned the elementary and then the science. You know, I know quite a few of the science teachers, and when their names come across there, I'm very familiar with. All our teachers are awesome, but our science department is first rate. They really take their job serious and do a great job, so we're lucky to have them all, so thank you.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes, number one, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Sivasankar on her MSBMA Scholarship Award. It's great. Also some thanks to some individuals. Ms. Marks, I can only assume JB helped set this up for me, so thank you. Also another gentleman who's not here, I'd like to thank Mr. Deanoff for raising some awareness about our ADA compliance in our front door. I used it today. Thank you. And, I hope everyone has a great Easter. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all the work for the curriculums, the contracts, the policies. Really appreciate that. Keep our district going well. And also with Volunteer Appreciation Week coming up, I want to say thank you to all the volunteers through our districts, whether you're a PTO or classroom teacher or booster parent. Thank you so much for everything that you do to make our district the best place it can be. And finally, for the 11th consecutive year, the East High Student Council has been named Honor Council by Missouri Association of Student Councils. Honor Councils are recognized for their comprehensive program in promoting student activities and student leadership, which include student service, school spirit, community service, student and teacher recognition, and leadership training activities. Only 66 Missouri Student Councils earned this recognition this year.
All right. First thing, thank you to the admin. You all do a wonderful job as usual. Jeremy, I know, again, thanks for the policy. That's very, that's a hard job. So, Brian, thank you for all your info. Had a rough one tonight. Same to you, Toby. We appreciate all your insight. I also want to thank the ELA, the high school English department for all the work they did on the curriculum, as well as the science department. You all did a great job. I want to give a shout out to, let's see, okay, next Wednesday is National Administrative Professionals Day. This is a special thank you to the clerical team across the district, which includes teams in our school and district level offices. These folks work in areas such as attendance, business, counseling, and our clinics, to name a few. Thank you for all you do behind the scenes to keep our district running efficiently. And also congratulations to Grace Miller, an 8th grader at North Middle, who won the SAR Middle School Brochure Contest. This contest encourages middle school students to develop a brochure showing what they have learned about one of our nation's 5 founding documents. Grace will be recognized at the organization's state luncheon later this month as well.
Thank you. I want to give a big congratulations to Crystal Dieterding, did I say right? Okay, that's a special education teacher at South Middle. She's been named our 24-25 Educator of the Year. Crystal started in the district as a paraprofessional and quickly discovered her passion for working with students who need extra support with social skills. She went back to school and became a certified teacher. I'm on the committee of picking this, and it's one of my favorite parts every year. It is a lot of reading, but it really just, again, goes to how amazing our staff is. I mean, it's hard to pick. I mean, I have a process, and I mark the ones that I'm like, yes, I'm looking, and I have like a whole stack that I have to go back through again and reread again, and it's just, I'm just really proud of this district, of everything. You guys have been innovative with stuff that you've come up with to save us money, from the uniforms. I mean, that's awesome for the sports. To things you're doing, Toby, with us for construction to help out, to everybody. So I appreciate all of you. We all appreciate all of you, and let's finish this year strong. All right, with that, we are going to adjourn into closed session. Please note that this concludes our agenda, and we will not return to open session after the closed session. I need a motion to go into closed session in accordance with RNSO 610.021 to discuss the approval of minutes from the March 17, 2025 closed session meeting, hiring, firing, promotion of personnel, and legal matters. Mr. Helms, second. Mr. Christopher. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Helms?
Yes.
Mr. Christopher?
Yes.
Dr. Marion?
Yes.
Mr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Byrd?
Yes.
And Mr. Peck?
Yes.